My visual model of creativity begins with the Creator. Hundreds of years ago, an ancient Hebrew king said of his Creator, "You know me inside and out. You know every bone in my body. You know exactly how I was made, bit by bit, how I was sculpted from nothing into something." Author Csikszentmihalyi defines creativity as any act, idea, or product that changes an existing domain or that transforms an existing domain into a new one. Each time the Creator shapes an individual for a specific purpose, he performs an amazing act of creativity. As individuals discover their creative shape, they choose certain types of work because of what Csikszentmihalyi describes as a powerful calling to do so. Alonzo King, famous choreographer and artistic director, said this about his work: "You can go to places and learn the academics. You can learn structure. You can learn formulas, and you can learn all these devices, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the essence of real work. That comes from within. You have to find out what fascinates you, and you begin by asking, 'Who am I?'" Discovering unique purpose in life seems to drive an individual's passion for his or her work. Many creative individuals have spoken of this. Margaret Jenkins, creative choreographer and artistic director for the Margaret Jenkins Dance Club, put it this way: "Given who I am and what I know how to do, I can't imagine that I could have done anything else with my life." I think that's what drives any of us, is to make dances and make music. That comes from some kind of necessity, an inner necessity. You're driven by your need to articulate what it is that is occurring to you intellectually, emotionally, physically, through some kind of theatrical means. In my case, it's choreography. Csikszentmihalyi sums it up this way: "But then there are individuals, and the creative ones are usually in this group, who choose certain domains because of a powerful calling to do so. For them, the match is so perfect that acting within the rules of the domain is rewarding in itself. They would keep doing what they do even if they were not paid for it, just for the sake of doing the activity." The tree, a metaphor for each unique creation, begins to find its purpose as it discovers its shape. Its shape will determine its work. The word shape, translated as forma in Latin, means the manner in which a thing is formed, fashioned, or made. If we take the word shape, we can make an acrostic which encompasses many of the elements of creativity that we have encountered. When an individual begins discovering and using each of these uniquely designed elements, creativity and its flow becomes apparent. In the word shape, the S unwraps our spirituality. Many gifted individuals describe an inner intuition that guides their creativity. For many, this intuition is linked to their spiritual self. Amalia Mesa Baines, visual artist and director of the Visual and Public Art Institute, says, "The important aspects to a creative life exist in the realm of the spiritual. I feel like that's really connected. My belief systems, which began in Catholicism, are sort of a free-floating in the sense that they are not attached to religious practices per se. But I have great faith, which I think sustains me a lot through difficult things. Not going back to the old model of the creative bolt of lightning or inspirational flame, but there is some relationship between the ability to create, especially in difficult situations, and your belief in the spirit world." As we continue looking at the word shape, the H signifies listen to your heart. The term heart describes the bundle of desires, hopes, interests, ambitions, dreams, and affections with creative souls. Another word for heart is passion. All creative people speak of their passion for what they do. In a recent interview with Bruce Springsteen, he said this about his passion: "I want extreme experiences to bring people out of themselves. I always feel this urgency, this ambition." Julia Taymor, director of the movie Frida, said, "I am passionate about politics. If you can provoke thought, people will think. We look at our cruelty to find the ability to transcend. This is passion." Looking in the middle of the word shape, we see the letter A. Apply your abilities. Creative people are able to apply their abilities to a focused vision. Ruth Tunstall Grant, visual artist and artist-in-residence at the Santa Clara County Children's Shelter, described her project for kids. "I've got it all figured out. We have 6 cottages on the campus, and I'm going to do teams of 6. We're going to do drawings and paintings, and then we're going to actually build 6 soapbox cars, and they'll go around in a little circle. That will be our big project, and we'll invite people from the city, and we'll watch them. There'll be art carts. I can see it. I can see it in my mind." The letter P in the word shape represents each individual's unique personality. Each of us is created with a unique combination of personality traits. Some are introverts, others are extroverts. Some love routine, others love variety. A creative person's personality affects how and where they use their spirituality and abilities. Joe Good, choreographer and artistic director of the Joe Good Performance Group, says, "How I got into making art was some kind of a compulsion I had as a child to be seen and to be noticed and to be the center of attention, probably." The last letter in our word shape employs experiences. Creative people have been shaped by their experiences in life, most of which were out of their control. Painful experiences prepared many of them for their life's work. Brenda Wong Aoki says this: "I was able to take a family shame and by doing a public performance, turn it into a badge of honor." Early childhood experiences marked the beginning of their curiosity. Marion Diamond, scientist and professor of neuroanatomy at UC Berkeley, remembers, "I think my father fostered my curiosity. He would give me problems when I was little. Why can you eat ice cream and a hamburger to maintain a body temperature of 98.6? One's hot and one's cold. I always wondered that about myself." Reflecting back on our tree metaphor, each individual who utilizes their shape finds meaning and purpose when they continue to grow and interact within a community. Cross-pollination takes place between other individuals, and life becomes a generative process. David Harrington, first violinist and artistic director for the Kronos Quartet, eloquently puts it this way: "One of the things about a concert is that it is a very important social experience. The audience becomes one, and it becomes a musical instrument. We are intimately tied as organisms to every other organism in this world. We share the water, we share the air, we share the sunlight." Environment is an equally important element to the creative ecosystem. Air represents the inspiration in a creative individual's life. Jewel Gomez, poet and writer, said this about what inspires her: "I would probably say most of the stuff I have from my family is my inspiration." Ruth Tunstall Grant said, "Mother Teresa is my spiritual hero. She went to the poorest part of India first and gave only of herself. She was such a model that she inspired an order, and then the order became a way of life. Water is needed for all living things. Water represents the infusion of truth that invades an individual's reality. Once an individual embraces this truth, they develop their own unique perspective on life. Geraldine Walther, principal violist for the San Francisco Symphony, states, "Music is such an emotional thing. It's a feeling of connecting with the truth, the most important thing, the truth of the moment, the truth of the feeling, the truth of the spirit of the music, the truth of the emotion." Usually it's emotion because I feel like that's what connects us all. The directness of that is so powerful to me, so I want to get into that stream. Finally, the tree needs sunlight to create its own food. Sunlight in an individual's life can represent the lessons that they have learned from many teachers that have given them the fuel they needed to grow beyond what they thought was possible. Amelia Mesa Bain says this about her parents. "I was very lucky. My parents recognized really early that I was different in that way, and they gave me space. I never remembered a time when they didn't treat me as though they expected me to be creative. These expectations can be powerful." Carrie Perloff, artistic director for the American Conservatory Theater, commented, "Everything I know, I learned in second grade. I had a remarkable teacher who was interested in the ancient world. In particular, the ancient Mediterranean became an enormous passion of mine from a very young age." My visual model ends with this Danish proverb, "What you are is the Creator's gift to you. What you do with yourself is your gift back to the Creator." Creativity is growing into the individual you were shaped to be and giving back to others the gift you have been so uniquely given.